I'm Robert Alexander. You might know me as a hairstylist, wig maker, and extension specialist with over 16 years of experience, but that's only part of who I am. Though I was raised in Detroit, I moved to the suburbs for about 6 years where I learned so many life lessons. I've traveled, I've crashed out, I've spent too much and did too little. I even fell in love with potential a few times. But after 6 years of sleeping on myself, I finally woke up and decided to do things my way. So here's to life on my terms, solely for the plot. You wouldn't know it just by looking at me, but I actually filmed this entire thing once already, but the microphone I used had no sound. So, with that being said, from the top, I will say this. This week, I've had the luxury of having an entire week off of work. How did I get this week off? I'll tell you in a bit. But while resting, I had this idea to create a series called For the Plot, where I put myself in situations that might not be the best, but felt right at the time. This series is about affirming the impulsive decision to be human. And what I mean by that is that for a very long time, I've been a people pleaser and I've had an obsession with perfection. And I have walked the line of being perfect for a very, very long time. And quietly and secretly, I have exercised my humanity, but I think that it's time to start doing that out loud. And so this series will serve as accountability for me to live fully in my humanity. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Where am I, right? So I live downtown. Not many people know that. I decided to move downtown about a year ago. That's when I made the decision. I've only lived downtown for a couple months now. But I knew that it was time for change because my social life was downtown. Everything I did outside of work was downtown. And the only reason I lived in the north suburbs was because I was close to work at the time. But now I was 20 minutes from work and 20 minutes from downtown. And I'm just like, baby, something has to give. That being said, I set the intention and I let it go. Um, and so in doing so, I think that that's the healthiest way to approach things because I said I want to move downtown. I wrote it down in a journal somewhere. And then months later, I met someone who I started to date, and he was living in like Livonia or Westland, one of those like west suburbs. And in my mind, I was like, this, you can forget about it. We could just be friends on Instagram because I'm never coming to those cities. But then after chit chatting a little bit, he was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be moving downtown. I'm like, oh, okay, we could do this. So we start hanging out. I do something I never do, which was initiate plans. And we end up hanging out. We hit it off well. We have a great time. Fast forward a couple months, like June, July, August, I get an email from my property manager in Troy saying basically your lease will be expiring within the next few months. Let us know if you're going to be renewing or not so that we can blah, 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 blah. Now, me and the property manager had beef, long-standing beef. I ain't rock with her. She ain't rock with me. If you're watching this, you know who you are. You know I don't like. And so I knew I was not renewing. And so immediately I got that email and I set up 2 tours downtown um, to check out 2 different places. One of my clients lived in one of the buildings, and the other one, I don't know why I checked that one out, but it was just cool. I checked them both out. They're both cute. That was Friday. I got the email. Monday, I did the tour. And then I'm over the guy's house who I'm dating. And I told him, like, oh, yeah, I've checked out a few places. And he says, well, why haven't you checked out this place yet? I'm like, okay, I see. You want me to live in the same building as you? Oh. We had already discussed how much I love this building before I ever even mentioned to him that I wanted to live downtown. I just love it. And so after asking him 4 different times, like, are you sure? Because what that meant, like we're getting to know each other. I am just being intentional. Like, what would it look like living in the same building as someone I'm dating? Now, in my mind, I'm like, and this is my toxic trait. I live in the best case scenario. Live in the best, prepare for the worst. That's how I am. Call it what you want. And so, after he says, like, yeah, it would be fun, like you should live in this building. I'm like, well, bet. I already love this building. Um, and but I did say like that's kind of expensive. But after shopping a bit and comparing, I'm just like, this the one. Long story short, that's how I ended up in this building. Now, spoiler alert, we're no longer dating. We're no longer dating. That's not a wise choice. Like, I don't think I need to tell anyone that you probably shouldn't move into the same building as someone that you're dating. If you're, but here we are. Here we are. The contract is signed. um, so that being said, that's how I ended up in this building. And how I ended up with this week off is that prior to everything kind of crashing and burning, we had plans to take a trip together this week. We are no longer obviously doing that trip. We are in communication, and I actually made the decision to go no contact. And since then, the man has vanished. I thought he moved away. He still lives here, but that's the thing about there's like a metaphysical something to it, but people will be like in your orbit, you run into them in public, so on and so forth, and then all of a sudden they just no longer exist in your universe. I love that. So that being said, that's how I ended up in this building. Since then, I have been so uncomfortable. It took me a while to get to where I am right now, like emotionally with it all. But now that I've gotten more settled in and taken ownership of my space, this is my building. It's mine. I love it. I love the residents. I love the staff. I've made friends here. And several times in the past 2 months, I've found myself surrounded by people and they don't know it at the time, but I'm just looking around like, this is so amazing. I didn't know any of these people a week ago. I didn't know any of these people a month ago. And I just find myself in spaces like that more and more often, which is really interesting because I wasn't always someone who could just go out and hang with strangers, make friends, so on and so forth. But that's the intention I set. That was the whole purpose of me moving downtown in the first place. So now that we're here, it's just been really, really cool to see what happens. And real change happens in discomfort. And so even the not so wise decision to move into the same building as someone I'm dating, even in that comes growth, right? Even in getting dressed and going to a party where no one knows me and leaving with 4 new friends is good money. Like I love it all. So I've just really been enjoying myself, getting uncomfortable, and it's really important to me to continue the momentum of that because, like all of you, I've never met a bad day that completely took me out. We're survivors. It's what we do. And so I wouldn't say that I'm a junkie for it because I don't enjoy it anymore now than I did the first time I found myself so uncomfortable. But I do have the confidence to know that I will overcome. And so that's why this series was born. Doing things for the plot, even if they're not the best thing to do, they're the right thing at the time. Owning that, taking accountability for that, living with whatever consequences come from that decision and just growing beyond it. So, if that sounds interesting to you, this is just the beginning of a series that I don't have an end to. I just want to do this until it serves its purpose. So, if that sounds fun to you, then like, subscribe, comment, I don't know what platform I'll be posting on, but I know that I'm going to be posting this, and let's just have fun with it. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. And until next time, do something solely for the plot.